Coming up on Sports Paws, one Bobcat headed to Las Vegas, Nevada to receive national recognition for men's ice hockey.
Men's and women's lacrosse had a home doubleheader on Saturday as both teams are approaching the end of MAC play.
And the baseball team, they headed to Poughkeepsie, New York to take on the Marist Red Foxes in a 3-game series.
All this and more coming up on Sports Paws starting right now. Welcome back inside SC 125 for another episode of Sports Paws. I'm Brittney Bronleben.
And I'm Andrew Reynolds. Brittney, while it's the final Sports Pause for both of us, it is only the beginning for one of Quinnipiac's biggest stars. On Friday, Ethan Wittenbach was awarded the Tim Taylor Award as the nation's top rookie in college hockey. The Long Island native led the country with 59 points, while tying the Quinnipiac Division I single-season record. Notably, Wittenbach beat out presumptive number 1 overall NHL pick in the upcoming draft, Penn State's Gavin McKenna. Wittenbach now becomes the second Bobcat to be named the National Rookie of the Year, joining Quinnipiac legend Sam Honest, who secured the honor back in 2014.
Wittenbach was also named to Division I Eastern First Team All-American. He is the 7th skater in program history to win this award. He joins notable alumni Odin Tofto, who won in 2020 to 2021, Zach Mesa in 2021 to 2022, and Colin Graff in 2022 to 23. This is Quinnipiac's 4 teams All-Americans in 4 of the last 6 seasons. Wittenbach is also the first rookie in school history to be named on the team.
Sticking with men's hockey, this morning at 12 a.m., the transfer portal officially opened. Q30's Nick Olson is here live in studio to break it all down for what you need to know in the coming weeks.
Thanks, guys. With the transfer portal opening, that means some Bobcats have hit the portal. And for Quinnipiac, this includes some skaters. We're going to start with Ben Reich, who spent 1 season playing 14 games. He had 1 goal last season. Logan McCutcheon, who played in 9 games. Alex Power played 4 seasons, 66 games, and yes, won a national championship in 2023 for the Bobcats. Now we're going to switch over to In Between the Pipes. There was a battle this past year between Matej Marinov and Dylan Silverstein. Well, both goalies are out. This past season, Dylan Silverstein posted a .209 goals against average and a .912 save percentage, while Matej Marinov posted a .233 goals against average and an .898 save percentage. There was a big battle down the line. We saw obviously Silverstein get the start in the Clarkson series, as well as the series or the national tournament against Providence and North Dakota. He gets pulled from Marinov. Both are out. So what's incoming next for the Bobcats? Well, Kristen Kirsch, the San Jose 4th-round pick in 2024, he posted a .242 goals against average and an .899 save percentage in the OHL, which is a tough place to play for any goaltender. We're going to go to his World Junior Classic numbers now with Team Switzerland, where he played in 3 games, had a .269 goals against average and a .904 save percentage. And I look, though, will Kirsch be able to command the net on his own as a first year? I don't think so. So I look to a grad transfer from Alaska Fairbanks, Lassie Letty, who this past season in 25 games had a .241 goals against average and a .919 save percentage. And yes, he beat Quinnipiac twice. So he'll be able to command the net for Kirsch and really lead him. One more person, a forward. I look at Jack Stockfish from Holy Cross Cast Summer. Did recruit him originally. He's just a big presence they could put in when they need that physicality. Well, that's all I have for this segment. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Nick. Well, the men's hockey team was not in Vegas this past weekend for the national championship. The road to the national title is just the beginning for the acrobatics and tumbling team. The NCATA selection committee released the bracket earlier today, and the Bobcats will enter the tournament as the 3 seed after a strong 5-1 regular season where they outscored their opponents for nearly a combined 154 points. They are set to square off against 6-seeded Iona in the quarterfinals on Thursday, April 23rd. Quinnipiac did not receive any at-large bid for any individual events, but has the opportunity to claim spots during the championship weekend, which is all taking place in Azusa, California.
Switching from Lunder Court to the turf, the women's lacrosse team returned home on Wednesday, facing off against the Rider Bronx. Quinnipiac would win this match 19-6. The Bobcats started off hot, scoring 10 of their first 12 goals of the contest. Peyton Choma, Emma Miller-Ayola, and Mia Delman all tallied a hat trick in the game. Julia Givens added 2 goals. Kendall Van Riemen and Maggie Kennedy each found the net for the first time this season. Shannon Alden made 8 saves in the win. The 29 points and 19 goals were both a season high for the Bobcats. Sisters Anna and Julia Givens had the opportunity for the 2026 season to play together one last time. Women's lacrosse beat reporter Seb Lopes has more on the story.
At the end of the 2025 season, Julia Givens hit the transfer portal. At the top of her phone call list, it was Quinnipiac University. Why not, with 1 year of eligibility left, come join your sister to play your senior season?
It wasn't a hard decision. I knew I wanted to come here.
The lacrosse journey together started in high school for the sisters.
She kind of made me into the player that I am today because in high school I definitely wasn't as level-headed as I am now, so she just really taught me how to calm down and be a well-rounded player.
Once Julia hit the portal, the Quinnipiac women's lacrosse staff immediately started trying to land the midfielder.
We knew she was a dynamic player. We knew she had found a lot of success at St. Francis, and we were doing our best to, try and make her a Bobcat.
The women's lacrosse staff weren't the only people recruiting Julia Givens. As you could imagine, her sister Anna played a key part.
I talked to her a lot when I was in the portal, and I always knew that. We had a great time in high school playing together, so I knew that if I got the opportunity again, I'd love to play with her, and obviously the opportunity arose.
So what exactly did Anna Givens tell Julia while she was trying to recruit her?
I told her great things about the school. We joked around. I told her she wasn't allowed to come to my college a few times, but I love the campus. I love the people here. The culture is unmatched, and it's just something that I don't think many people get to experience, and especially for transferring your senior year is really hard, so I feel like this is such an easy transition with the people and the place, so it was no doubt in my mind that this was a great place for her to come into.
Julia Givens wasted no time making her mark on the program, sitting second this season in goals scored with 31, but it's her teammates who deserve the credit.
Obviously my teammates are really good at setting me up. We have really great chemistry all across the field.
The sisterhood the pair display has been contagious across the whole squad.
Teams are families, and when you bring in family, it just helps create that culture a little bit stronger, and those two are a shining example of that.
We are technically real family, but I think just the connection that we all have, the love for each other, the willingness to do whatever it takes to set each other up and just make the most of the time here, because it really goes by so fast, and I'm so lucky that I got to play with her.
The Givens to Givens connection will look to continue to fuel this team as they hit the late playoff push with 2 games left, starting right here on Saturday against Fairfield. For Q30 Sports, Seb Lopes.
Thank you, Seb. And a bit of foreshadowing, as he said, the Bobcats hosted the Fairfield Stags to remain unbeaten in conference action. And speaking of undefeated, the Stags have never lost to the Bobcats in program history and look to keep it alive. Early on, Quinnipiac's Anna Givens gets the game's first goal on the free position to get the Bobcats ahead. On the other end, Fairfield responds with 2 goals, looking to make it 3 unanswered is Tessa Caputo, and she beats Shannon Alden. The Bobcats get one back, and Kate Bendowski looking to tie it here, and she does. It is now tied 3-3. In the final minutes of the first quarter, Mary Henry crashes to the net and finds Caputo, who jukes out Shannon Alden to make it 7-5 heading into the second. Early in the second, Bendowski from behind the net finds a cutting Julia Givens, who gets past the Fairfield netminder. Fairfield starting to pull away, adding 2 more and make it 3. Kylie Tafano makes it 10-6 in the Stags. They head into halftime leading 12-7. Starting in the third, KU down 13-8. Mia Delmont to Charlotte DeMayo, and then Anna Givens on the one-timer shot goal. And the Stags still lead 13-9. A little later, Bobcats down 14-11, looking for a chance here. Bendowski finds Delmond through the traffic, and the Bobcats make it a 2-goal game. In the fourth, Caputo gets on top of the ground ball in the Bobcats' defensive zone, and she cashes it in. Stags leading 16-12 at this point, and the nail in the coffin would do it. 17-13 the final from Hamden. Fairfield remains unbeaten in the MAC.
With one last week of regular season play, let's take a look at the standings. The first 4 teams have clinched playoffs. Niagara and Fairfield are still tied for first, being undefeated in MAC play. Siena and Sacred Heart are in 5th and 6th with the record of 4-3. Quinnipiac and Marist are in 7th and 8th, both having a 3-4 record. To end MAC play, Quinnipiac will be facing off against Sacred Heart, fighting for postseason play. To round up the standings, Iona and Ryder are at the bottom, going defeated in MAC play. There's still a ton left on Sports Paws this week. When we come back, we take a look at the baseball team's trip across the border into New York against the Red Foxes.
Plus, the men's lacrosse team, they're looking to keep their momentum going against the Mount after their stunning upset over Sacred Heart last week. Stay with us. Sports Paws, we'll be right back.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutVaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Yes. I do my best reaching out to my brothers and sisters in arms.
Have you ever asked for help yourself?
Most of us, we're not gonna admit that we need to help.
You don't have someone to kind of help you guide those thoughts. It can be really bad.
It's just a beautiful space when someone can trust you and say, listen, I need help.
Do you enjoy debating Quinnipiac sports?
That's all flash, no catch. She didn't net it in the back of the net. That's not even a goal.
What are you doing pulling out Ryan?
Brady, that's like a crossover with a missed layup.
Bobcat Breakdown is the place for you, with debate, analysis, and so much more.
Matej Marinov. He is good, but oh man, is he bad. And
that team is amazing. How do you not put Fairfield women's volley?
Tune in to Bobcat Breakdown every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. on Q30TV.com/watch.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy. Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
that was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. Quinnipiac baseball opened up a crucial 3-game set at Marist this weekend, looking to climb back into 500 in conference play. It's the first home MAC series for Marist Red Foxes at McCann Baseball Field in Poughkeepsie, New York, as James Pazdera toes the rubber for the Bobcats. In the top of the first inning, after James Marino got hit by a pitch with bases loaded, Garbowski gets an infield single, but Christian Smith would score, making it 2-0 Bobcats after the top of the first. But Marist would respond quickly in the bottom frame. Nathan Lincoln with a single right past Pazdera, and then Scott Esposito would score later on, tying it up at 2. In the fourth, Marist would take a lead on this single by A.J. Bratz in the left field. 2 runners score to make it 4-2 Marist. In the fifth, Peyton Vainkiss picks up a bases-loaded walk with the Bobcats down 4-2. That would make it 4-3 Marist. And then this crazy play, as you're going to see right here, right off the hit. It's going to go right to the third. He's going to get out, go for the play, and Irizarry able to get around the bat, get to the plate while standing up. It is now tied at 4. In the sixth, it was Mr. Clutch, TJ Bear. His ground ball single through the left side would give Marist the lead. Back as a runner scores, it is 5-4 Red Foxes. Shortly thereafter, a bloop single by Nathan Lincoln scores 2 runs, making it 7-4. J.C. Frankeneer would give up 3 earned runs in relief, so we'll head to the 9th inning. Kyle Garbowski hits this slow roller that would get away first base. With the error, James Marino comes around to score, which made things interesting in the 9th, but the slipper did not fit. Matt Park would pinch hit, and he delivers a quality at bat, but his ground out too short would end the ball game, with Quinnipiac falling to Marist with a final score of 7-5. Marist's starter Will Taylor, an all-MAC selection, left the game with an injury, but the Red Foxes bullpen shut the door, getting a big Friday afternoon win. In Game 2, the Bobcats did not fare much better. Marist wasted no time, jumping out to a 4-0 lead in the first inning. The Bobcats showed some life in the second on a Chase Kamak RBI single, but the Red Foxes responded immediately to push the lead back to 4. The Marist offense stayed hot through the 5th to pull away as the Bobcats fell 9-2, dropping to 6-8 in MAC play and losing their second straight conference series.
Bobcats had their last matchup against Marist on Sunday. Let's see if the Bobcats can end the series with a win like Wagner won the MAC Water Polo Championship. Bobcats trying to halt their free-fall MAC standings on Sunday, just 27 outs away from being swept up in Poughkeepsie. Quinnipiac starting on the right foot. Warm burner by James Marino gets by the second baseman and into right field for a knock. That drives in 2. Just like that, Bobcats are up 2-0. Merrick goes quiet in the first, and Peyton Vainkiss once more for Quinnipiac. He shoots one the other way for a hit. Alex Irizarry trots home, and the Bobcats have an early 3-0 cushion. Bottom half of the frame, now Marist threatening with bases loaded. This ball into no man's land, but Chase Kamak goes full extension to rob TJ Breyer of a hit. Let's head forward to the 5th now. Irizarry catches a barrel and shoots one into right center field gap. Cole Constable drops home from 3rd, and Quinnipiac now has 4 unanswered runs. Bottom half of the 5th now. Nick Balcom on spot, starting on the hill for Quinnipiac, and strikes out the side, 1 forwards and 2 backwards as he roars off the mound. Bobcats score on the top of the 6th. Let's go to the bottom. Balcom in some trouble with the runner in scoring position. Scott Esposito squeaks one past Venkes at 3rd for his 2nd double of the game. The Red Foxes are on the board now. Both teams trade runs heading into the 9th. The Bobcats closer Matt Aldino on the mound, looking to finish out 6-out appearance. Venkes up for a few errors earlier, and the Bobcats salvage up the final game of Poughkeepsie. 6-2 is your final. Quinnipiac over Marist. Nick Malcolm sets a new career high in innings in strikeouts. Quinnipiac baseball has been rotating pitchers trying to find the perfect set. Jack Byer has more on Nick Balcom and the pitching against Marist.
I believe that we're a tough team.
After Saturday's loss to Marist, Quinnipiac's John Delaney did not know who was going to step up to the mound. However, Nick Balcom, with his back against the wall, turned in a dominant performance, recording the most innings he's ever pitched in his collegiate career.
You know, it was huge to have him out there and compete that well for us.
And compete Balcom did. Because typical Sunday starter Sam Wright was unavailable, Balcom was thrust onto the mound. He turned in a strong performance. 5 1/3 innings pitched, only 1 earned run, and 9 strikeouts. Innings pitched and strikeouts were both career highs. Helped with an offense that struck first and never looked back, Quinnipiac was able to turn one of their better games of the year.
The kid competed, and that's the one thing with him is doesn't matter what the scenario is, he doesn't change his demeanor and attitude, he just goes out there and competes, and then as the game went, he got better as it went.
Even after Balcom came off the mound, the strong pitching continued. J.C. Frankenair and Matt Alduino both pitched well, even when encountering their own troubles. They kept their composure and persevered through.
When you have guys like J.C. and Duino on the back end, you got Alsh back there, that, and then Balcom was, but now he's in the starting role, Ponce, the same deal. Those guys, when you have those guys on the mound, you feel confident. I think our team feels confident with those guys on the mound, so it's important to have that.
This game showed more than just strong pitching. To Coach Delaney, it displayed the toughness this team possesses. Even with 2 bad games and their typical starter out, the Quinnipiac baseball team did not step down. They stepped up to the challenge and won the game.
I think there was a different team out there today, and it was fun to watch and see the embracement and the investment within the group. So, we just need to continue with that.
Quinnipiac will look to keep this good momentum going as they face the Yale Bulldogs this Wednesday. Reporting for Q30 Sports, my name is Jack Byer.
In their second to last home game of the season, Quinnipiac hosted Mount St. Mary's, looking to end their home losing streak.
Saturday was senior day for the men's lacrosse team, honoring a class that stunned the nation with a ranked win in 2023 before leading the program to a historic top 20 start the following year. Bella Carter has more on the legacy the senior group leaves behind.
On Saturday, Quinnipiac men's lacrosse celebrated their senior class, and while the last 4 years haven't been the best, the seniors' leadership is starting to help it trend in the right direction.
We had a talk a couple weeks ago when the product was getting better, but the results weren't there. I think no matter what religion you are, where you come from in life, if you stay positive, you have a good energy, and you work hard, you can't be deterred forever. And again, we were deterred, and now we're starting to fight our way through. And those guys have continued to set the standard here for Quinnipiac lacrosse, and now we're finally seeing some results.
A big part of the team's change came when Evan Miner stepped in goal back in early March.
Going into Siena, didn't really expect to go in, but ball wasn't falling the right way defensively, so it was nice to get the first look at going in. Got called in the coach's office, got told I was going to play against Canisius. Obviously, haven't won all the games, but won the games that mattered, and it's been awesome. It's a great experience, great to finally be able to play and show off what I've been able to do.
The goalie who Miner used to watch from the bench, Mason Oak, continues to have a great relationship with him off the field, despite the big change.
It's a great. We have a great relationship. I've been backing him ever since he stepped in goal. Either way, he's been starting, I've been backing up. I step in, he's been all supportive throughout the past 6 games I've been in. I've been supportive for him, but it's just it's a great relationship.
While it came as a surprise for many, the team continues to put their trust in Miner.
This year, having Ev come in, with Oak coming back, it was, he didn't really have an expectation to come in, but he's come in. He's been a brick wall in there, and he's just been great. So having Ev come in, it's just been awesome.
The Bobcat senior class looks to help push them to the playoffs with 2 games remaining in the season. For Q30 Sports, I'm Bella Carter.
Thanks, Bella. Now that we've seen the story behind the game, let's take a look at the highlight. The Quinnipiac men's lacrosse team took on the Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers on Saturday for their senior day. Starting off in the first, junior attack Cole Marsala will cut from behind the net and sneak it across crease to score. Bobcats go up 1-0. A couple minutes later, junior attack Nate Watson will get on the far side, fending space in the middle, and he scores. QU would end the quarter up 4-1. Moving to the second quarter, Kevin Whitty over the middle to Brody Atkins, and he gets the Mount closer. Bobcats still up. After a 3-1 scoring run, it's 6-3. Senior Evan Miner makes the save and quickly gets it to first-year defender Luke Byman, and he'll just do all the work himself, and he'll score this one. 10-4 heading to the half, and the Mount would add 2 goals in the third, moving to the fourth quarter. Junior midfielder Nick Maoni will collect a pass, and he'll jump step, find space, and rifle a pass for the score. Later, Watson breaks and changes his mind. Masala, he finds the first-year attack AJ Mandalore, and he gets his first goal right here. 12-7 QU. Late goings, Watson gets it over to Marsala, who then finds first-year Duncan Zelke. His goal seals the deal 13-7. It'll be his 9th goal in his first year for the Bobcats as he scores it right here. And the Bobcats would go on to take a 14-8 victory as they look ahead to New Rochelle to take on the Ino Gales on April 18th.
And there's 2 games remain in the season for the Bobcats, and they're playing well at the right time. Quinnipiac currently sits in fifth in the fifth and final playoff spot with a 3-3 conference record. Siena still leads the pack undefeated, followed by Marist and Sacred Heart. Merrimack currently sits 1 game ahead of Quinnipiac in 4th, but the Bobcats hold the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Warriors thanks to their win over the Warriors back in March. With just 2 games left, the Bobcats control their own destiny as they'll look to clinch a spot against teams currently on the outside looking in, heading to Iona this Saturday before returning home to face Manhattan for the season finale. When we come back, our tennis reporters across student media will break down all that's ahead for both the men's and women's squads as they push for the MAC championship.
And with all the spring sports in the peak of their action, we'll take a look to see which teams made top 5 plays for the week. I heard there may be a baseball play in the mix. We'll be right back.
The go-to Quinnipiac news source for students, by students. We've got the latest on campus news, student life, and stories all around the country. Get to know your local community with features on Hamden businesses and politics. Everything you need to know, all in 30 minutes. Wednesdays at 9:30, reporting for the Quinnipiac community.
I'm Melissa Sheehan.
I'm Sophia DeBona.
Hi, I'm Maury Smith.
I'm Christina Semanis. I'm Riley Farrell.
I'm Andrew Allison.
I'm Miranda Patorti.
We are the Q30 Newscast.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. Today, we're at the tennis courts with a change in personnel. I'm Josh August, joined alongside me, Alex Martinikova, the Quinnipiac Chronicle editor-in-chief, and the 2 QBSN representatives, Matt Flaherty and Luke Kraut. Today, we're going to be discussing both the men and women's tennis teams as their season dwindles down.
For our first question, how likely is the men's team to make the MAC tournament despite their struggles?
I gotta be honest, Josh, I really don't think they're gonna make this tournament. They've got Niagara, Fairfield coming up. I just don't think that they're gonna be able to pull it out.
I don't think they're making the tournament, honestly. I think they have a good group this year, but unfortunately they had a really slow start, and you can't really come back from that anymore.
You know, this is a team that's won the MAC the last 2 years, and it's a pretty veteran-heavy group, but just their inability to win the big matchups. They lost to Sacred Heart 4-3 in a match they were heavily favored earlier in the year, and that match kind of just turned the season around for the worst for this men's team.
Okay, so who do you guys think needs to step up on the men's team?
For me, it's got to be Finn Burridge. I mean, last year he was 6-2 in the MAC. This year he's got 1 MAC win. He was all second team last season. He really needs to step up right now.
Yeah, Luke, I really agree with you. We were talking about it earlier, too. I just think compared to the fall when he was absolutely dynamite on the court, talk about him being one of the leaders of this team and one of the team's best, and he hasn't been up to that standard. Yeah, for me, it's going to have to be 2 of their top singles players, Elias Hoksha and Carlos Broncimo. Broncimo is one of the captains this year, and he's been pretty vocal after the team's loss, especially to Sacred Heart. So I think for them to even make this tournament, it's going to start with their 2 singles players and 2 of their top leaders.
All right, guys, switching over to the women's side. Do you guys think they'll go undefeated the rest of the season? Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, I think they will. They have Fairfield and Niagara left, same as men's side, and I think they'll have. They've been playing really good tennis so far, and just think still undefeated in the MAC. They are the first team to clinch a playoff spot, and yeah, I do think they'll go undefeated for the rest of the year.
I definitely agree with you, Matt, which is surprised I'm saying, because they've been kind of struggling the past few years, but this year they have a really good team, especially with Willow and Caitlin. So I can see them definitely going undefeated and winning the MAC again.
So we all agree that they're the favorites to win the MAC here, but can they go all the way, guys? What do you think? It's going to be Emily Meng the first year. She's been pretty dominant, stacking up the MAC's Rookie of the Week award so far. But this is a veteran group. We know the veterans are going to be ready to go come playoff time. So it's going to be, in the first year, continue her momentum going into the playoffs.
For me, I think Caroline Schulzen and Anaga Shankar really have to step up for this team. In that kind of lower middle lineup, in the singles lineup, they have to step up. And when the team wins a full match, if there's 2 losses, and at least 2 of their MAC games, it's both of them. So they really need to step up.
Thank you all for joining me. That's all the time we have. Make sure to follow all of our organizations on social media. Back to Brittany and Andrew at the desk.
That was some pretty good stuff, guys. And the women's track and field team, they competed this weekend in the Bison Classic at Bucknell University. Lauren Federios rebroke her own school record in the triple jump. Fedario marked 12.55 meters in her 3rd attempt on Sunday afternoon, knocking off her previous school record and setting a new season high in the process. She also won the event. The Bobcats also had some wins on track, with Nisha Daly taking home the victory in the 100-meter with a time of 11.96 in the event. Daly also joined the 4x100 relay that won with Kiera Baxter, Michelle Toda, Izzy Anzalato, and Daly.
News out of the women's basketball transfer portal: former Bobcats have made their decision for next season. First year, Ella Ryan announced she'll continue her college career at Arizona State University. In her first year, she averaged 10.4 points per game and shooting 41% from 3 for Quinnipiac. Ryan also was named to the All-MAC rookie team. Former Bobcat Carson Martin has entered the transfer portal and announced she'll be playing in her senior year at Tennessee Tech. Martin averaged just under 10 points per game and shot 36.8% from 3. Martin won MAC 6th Player of the Year and was named to the MAC All-13. Anna Foley announced early today that she will be joining the Villanova Wildcats for her senior year. Foley was named to the All-MAC 3rd team this season after being on the All-MAC 2nd team the last 2 seasons. She averaged 47.8% from the field and 187 rebounds. This weekend, Emma Lazat also announced she'll be playing her junior year at Holy Cross.
From lacrosse wins to some clutch swings on the baseball diamond, the Bobcats have been putting on a show all week long.
We've narrowed it down, the best of the best. Let's count down the top 5 plays for one last time.
And we'll start in men's lacrosse. Duncan Zilke behind the net looking for some movement. He decides to take it himself and rounds the corner and lands the goal.
Play 4, Zelke receives the ball again, finds Ryan Downing, who takes a shot off the one hop and seals bottom shelf. Look at that shot there from Downing with the crossway, top corner.
And we stick with men's lacrosse again. This time, Luke Byman solo up the middle with the long stick snipe for the Bobcats. Bobcats, they take it 14-8.
Play 2, women's lacrosse. Big movement from both sides, and the Bobcats find Julia Givens. High pressure, no problem. Great shot by her, but the Bobcats dropped this one 17-13.
And finally, a hit to shallow right for baseball is no problem for Chase Kamak. The right fielder lays out for the inning, the diving catch, which ended the inning. What a diving stop by the first year. And for Brittany and me, it is our final time on Sports Paws. And this was the first show I ever joined in Q30. I'll never forget that first rundown meeting in the glass room upstairs. I was terrified. Pitching Club Sports wins and how Avello Airlines is a new sponsor of Quinnipiac Athletics. And the legendary group of Clever Strice, Dylan Sommer, Paul Siracusa, Nick Antoniadis, and Gage Kilborn all looked at me being way too kind about how terrible my pitch ideas were in that rundown meeting. I remember my first time on desk being on this very show, going on with the sports director at the time, Ethan Logue. I remember shaking so much my legs were practically moving themselves, even though I had done this so many times in my high school's newscast every morning. And even worse, my hair was recovering from a full and accidental buzz cut the month prior. It was pretty bad, and I'm sure you can see from the pictures, it was pretty brutal. But those guys didn't just show us the ropes. They made a massive group of nervous first years who are now seniors feel like we belonged here and set the foundation for the next generation of classes to walk through this door. They turned this studio into a home, especially for me during a year when I was really still trying to find one. As we head towards graduation, I hope our class has helped lay the same foundation that we experienced when we first got here 4 years ago for the next generation. Thank you, Sports Paws.
Before anyone gets too excited, like Andrew said, you still have more of me on Q30. Sports Paws might not have been a show I produced on, but it will always have a special place in my heart. Paws was the first show I showed up to in shadow positions and was so scared. I met some of my best friends here, including the person I'm sitting next to on desk. People might complain about Mondays, but they have never experienced Paul Syracuse's Tony Soprano's impression while he's dressed in a full tracksuit. Mafia Mondays is what made my student media experience so special. Even though you might not work directly with the show, my message to everyone returning is to still go on and hang with the producing staff. All my 4 years, I was around on Mondays and showed up to rundowns. You'll never know what crazy scenarios you'll get to be a part of and all the silly memories you get to make. To all the people I've gone on Sports Paws with, it's been nothing but a pleasure, whether it was one of my first times or to my last show. To all the Paws producers I've worked with, it's always been an amazing experience. I can't wait to see how the show grows in the future, but thank you for all the memories.
Those are some great pictures. Those great memories. But that's all the time we have for tonight on Sports Paws. Thank you so much to the producers and everyone working hard behind the scenes.
Be sure to follow Q30 Television and Q30 Sports on Instagram, X, and YouTube. For Andrew Reynolds, I'm Brittney Bronleben. Have a splendid evening, Bobcats.